If you dislike Gilbert Burns because he's not coming to the pod, click on the like button, please, my brother, on the beginning. Just for me to know, brother.
He's right. So Gilbert's got to come at least one episode before his fight, bro. What do you think?
If he doesn't show up next week, I think we should fight him like Donald Trump, my brother. Gilbert Burns, you fight it.
Welcome back, everybody. It is episode 48 of the Show Me the Money podcast. We did not have a card last weekend, but we have a very exciting card for this weekend. And we also have lots to talk about, bro. How you doing?
Hey, this is looking better than Gilbert Burns, my brother. I think we should get rid of him, right? Put on the full screen, my brother. Look, this looks like a podcast,
solid,
my brother.
Bro.
That looks solid,
hey,
my
I'm
brother.
about to buy tickets, Apex tickets. May 17th, Gilbert Burns versus Michael Morales. I'm going, Kyle's going. I think we're bringing Hayjive. Them Apex tickets are hefty, bro. But I've never been to an Apex card, so I gotta go.
How that works, the Apex?
You have to buy like VIP tickets. They're not cheap, bro. They're like a little under $2,000
for each one?
per ticket. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
it's not
expensive.
cheap, bro. I mean, we got the Bacardi Lounge for the Miami card. It was $1,700 a ticket, but that was a big card. You know, it was a Miami card.
Yeah.
But it was real enjoyable, bro. Like the Miami card was.
But that's too far, brother.
I love it though.
Yeah?
I love it. Yeah, because you can still see good. You got TVs. You can still see the actual octagon.
We did a show about Miami. We did the recap from Miami. I don't remember.
No, we
I
didn't.
think we
That was
did
2 weeks ago.
No, but we did the
maybe
recap.
Yes.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
true.
because we went last week, me and you. Yeah.
Yeah.
We already recapped Miami. But let's talk about
Let me talk about
No,
something, my
go
brother.
ahead.
Brother, if you dislike Gilbert Burns because he's not coming to the pod, click on the like button, please, my brother, on the beginning. Just for me to know, brother. And if you are a fucking fan of this show, if you want me to keep it showing every week, click on the like button on the beginning. Because this motherfucker asked us to ask for the like on the last minute of the video. Needs to be on the beginning. So please click the like button.
100% right. Oh my god, dude, we were getting some heat from some of you guys in the comments. We appreciate the passion. I read through all those comments. Some of you guys aren't happy with us when we miss a week. We missed 2 weeks. We had never missed 2 weeks in a row ever in 40 some episodes.
I will because Gilbert is skipping a whole month. Let me get my next fight. You guys gonna see, my brother. Bye. Show me the money. It's going to be like it's going to be season.
Yeah.
One season with Moicano. Next season Gilbert Burns, my brother.
I know that's what it's gonna be like. Hey, if you guys are ever on the same card together, this podcast is fucked, bro.
No, you can go, brothers. Just talk about your fucking powers.
Yeah, I'll just talk to the camera and everyone trash me. All right, well, let's talk through some fighting news, some crazy shit going down today. It looks like John Jones is not gonna fight Tom Aspinal, bro.
Yeah,
that's what I'm seeing. That's what I'm hearing. I don't know. Chael Sonnen comes out literally yesterday or 2 days ago and says that John Jones is not ducking and that John Jones for Aspinal is being made right now. He said it like he knows it for a fact. Then a day or two later, he comes out and says, "Oh, now it's Tom Aspinal versus Cyral Gane for the belt." What are your thoughts?
But Chael Sonnen say that?
Yeah.
This is going to be for the belt?
For the belt, yeah.
I think it's fucking bullshit, my brother.
But it's
going to be interim belt or...
I don't know if it's interim belt or for the belt, but I feel like at this point they gotta make it for the belt, bro. Like
how do you say linear belt, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
But Cyral Gane, brother, fighting for a belt. How many wins does he has?
Well, here's the thing: is Cyral Gane we didn't think Dana didn't think, I didn't think, a lot of people didn't think he won his last fight against Volkov. It was a split decision, 29-28, and Volkov looked very impressive in that fight. The Volkov that fought Tom Aspinal is a different Volkov today. Like Volkov is way better than when I think Tom Aspinal got him with like a Kimura or something. You remember that? I think it was a Kimura, but he subbed him on the ground in round 1. And I think that Volkov is just... I think the Volkov today is way better than he used to be. He's filled out. He's a lot more skilled. He still has power. He's a great striker. He's a problem at heavyweight. But he lost that split decision to Cyral Gane. It was a robbery, according to Dana and a lot of people. And I think they wanted to... But now it's like Cyral Gane and Aspinall have never fought. So it's actually a good matchup. And Cyral Gane's a very good striker. You know, so, but the question is Aspinall going to take this guy down and John Jones?
No. It's fucking easy money for Aspinall. Let's be honest.
Okay.
The guy got hooked by who?
Cyral Gane.
Don't say tight with us, brother. Don't say tight.
Cyral Gane heel hooked somebody.
Yeah. That's when you see the level of heavyweight. When Ciryl Gane gets a heel hook. But let me tell you something, my brother. My opinion on this is, I think UFC should start to take belts out, you know, because we've seen this on the heavyweight remove. Yeah, we've seen that with Islam Makhachev, and we need to. They need to fight, brother. Yeah, you know.
Well, Ciryl Gane in the UFC.
Otherwise, this is going to turn in like boxing, you know.
Yeah.
Like champions choosing too much. You cannot choose, brother. You champion, you have to defend against whoever the company says, right?
Well, Ciryl Gane's 10-2 in the UFC. There's an argument that he should be 9-3 if that last fight, if he didn't get the nod in a split decision. But his only 2 losses are John Jones and Francis Ngannou. And I do think Ciryl Gane versus Aspinal is a somewhat entertaining fight for as long as it lasts.
No.
You don't think?
No.
Fair enough.
Should be John Jones and Aspinal, you know?
Yeah, but...
That's the fight to make and...
Right. But then
that
fight isn't made, though, what's the next best fight, if in your opinion? Like, what other fight can you make outside of, you know... it's an interesting fight
Can I see their rankings?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Yeah. I think Jailton Almeida is actually the biggest threat to Aspinal outside of John Jones. Just because he's so good at grappling.
Let me see the rankings based on rankings. Yeah. Because based on popularity, I don't know. Yeah. Heavyweight, my brother.
Where the hell is it?
Over here.
There we go. No, that's top. That's pound for pound.
That's Pantoja. Yes.
There we go.
Here.
Yeah. So
you have Tom Aspinal.
You got Aspinal, you got Jones, Aspinal, Gane, Volkov, Pavlovich, Curtis Blades, Jailton Almeida, Spivak, Tybura, Derek Lewis, Tuivasa. Waldo Cortez Acosta is a problem at number 11. Deadass. He's going to make a run, bro. I'm telling you, I'm betting on him every single fight.
Cortez?
Waldo Cortez, great takedown defense, power, good boxing, head movement. I think he's a problem at heavyweight. I think he's going to make a run into the top 5 and challenge for the belt in the next couple of years. But I'll tell you right now, I think the biggest threat to Aspinal is literally just Jailton Almeida because he's just so good at one area. Like, you have to be a specialist to even have any success against Tom Aspinal because he's so well-rounded everywhere. You know, so...
Yeah, I see...
But no one else is going to threaten him,
But I see Tom Aspinal levels above everybody.
He is, for sure.
Because he is a heavyweight that has power and speed and technique, you know? Yeah. And most of the heavyweight... Brother... People get mad at me when I say that. Yeah. But you know how lazy are heavyweights? Yeah. Today, I went to the gym, right? Yeah. And then there was supposed to have a heavyweight training. Yeah. And there was only one heavyweight.
Only one?
Only one.
Who was it?
Buchecha, Marcos Buchecha, you know?
Okay.
Jiu-jitsu guy.
Yeah.
He's the only heavyweight that really works, my brother.
What time of the day was this? In the morning?
Well, today was sparring. And then there was only Buchecha. Yeah. Training with a middleweight, brother. There was no heavyweights. And I say, hey, what is the heavyweights? And they say, what do you think? And I say, they don't like to train. It's simple as that. You know why? Because they rely too much on the power, on the, you know?
Do you feel like there's a lot of light heavyweights that could just say fuck it and go up and like be in the top 5?
Jailton Almeida is one of them, right?
Yeah. And well, also, what about like guys like Jamal Hill or like... I'm trying to think who else, like a Johnny Walker. There was talks about him. I think Johnny Walker.
No, I don't think.
No,
because Johnny Walker always had the problem with the chin, right?
Yeah.
Like as a heavyweight, they would hit harder, and he's not a wrestler.
But he at least has a speed advantage. Then, like at light heavyweight, he's getting chinned by fast guys who are still powerful.
Okay.
You know?
Okay. Then he would have to work a lot on the defense, right? On the footwork, on the movement, you know.
Right.
Because.
Even Jan Blachowicz, I feel like, could go up. Is that crazy?
No, I think he's small, right? Because he used to be a middleweight, right? Back in the day.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's a good question.
I don't know. I know as a fan, I don't like the state of heavyweight right now on UFC.
Yeah, no, I agree. It needs.
And what they're going to do? Let's say that's the fight that make most sense, right? Ciryl Gane versus Tom Aspinal based on rankings and popularity because Ciryl Gane is really popular in Europe, right?
Right.
But what they do next? So they take John Jones out of the equation, or he gonna? Or imagine if he waits, right, to see if Ciryl Gane can win.
I think that's what he's doing. But I think like if Aspinal doesn't finish Ciryl Gane within 2 rounds, it's almost like a loss for him. You know, if he doesn't make it easy the way that John Jones did, John Jones and the whole public in the world are going to look at that and be like, oh, he didn't put away Cyral Gane.
Okay, if they fight, Jones would win. They would say something like that, you mean?
Yeah, exactly. Let's say, hypothetically, John Jones retires and never comes back. What do you even make after this fight? Let's say Tom Aspinall beats Cyral Gane. Like, maybe you do the Sergey Pavlovich rematch.
I
think you got to do the Sergey Pavlovich rematch. Either that or Almeida.
Be honest with me, brother. Be honest.
Yeah.
And you guys on the comment, be honest too.
Yeah.
Who do you guys really like on the heavyweight division right now?
I like Waldo Cortez Acosta.
No, man, that's because he's your boy. Or,
I don't even know. I've never talked to him in my life.
Or you made a lot of money with him. Tell the truth.
Genuinely, tell me the truth. You actually watch his fights?
I watch against the
Yes.
Cuban guy.
But have you watched since then?
No.
Bro,
No, I think
he's got boxing and head movement, and he's got elite takedown defense. And he's not the craziest power, but
look, the UFC is not about who is the best athlete, right?
But
UFC,
heavyweight, I'm just saying he can be a problem because we just talked about it.
But that's not my point.
Like, I would
Matty
take him
Bats.
against Curtis Blades. I would take him against Curtis Blades tomorrow
Really?
because I think he can.
He's that good at wrestling.
I think he can stuff the takedowns. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm not asking you about that, about who is the better athlete. What I'm asking is, like the fighting nerds. I know people just talking about fighting nerds.
Yeah.
But why they talking about fighting nerds? I'm trying to prove
they're
a point.
unique and different, I feel like.
Different, exactly.
yeah.
Unique, yeah.
Yeah.
Unique, like they are different because they have a good marketing team.
Yeah.
You could argue.
For
Right now they have the best marketing.
Yeah.
So people want to tune in, want to watch. Who is in the heavyweight has the same hype.
Nobody.
So that's the problem with
Right.
UFC right now. Even Topuria. I want to watch Topuria.
Yeah.
You know, I want to see his fighting.
Yeah.
Because there is some kind of hype around
sure.
him. You know.
Yeah.
I don't see that on Aspinal. Beside Jones and Ton Aspinal, I don't see that on heavyweight.
agree. No, I agree with
beside
that.
Aspinal and John Jones. So the only fight to make that could really do
Yeah.
something is Jones versus Aspinal.
You know, Sergey Pavlovich had that hype before he got
Yeah.
chinned. He had that aura and that hype, and
Yeah.
people were
Exactly.
petrified of this guy. And then he got chinned and then lost 2 in a row.
And then he lost, and then he did a very bad performance against Jairzinho.
Very bad, yeah.
People lost
And then
aura
they
so
dropped
fucking
Jairzinho
fast.
Rosenstrike. I still don't understand what happened. Something had to happen behind the scenes. You
Yeah,
know,
brother.
the UFC dropped him, so I don't know what happened. But
Betting
let's talk
schemes.
about Topuria, since you just brought him up. He tweeted just today, so we're filming this episode on a Tuesday.
Brother, 8 o'clock. If that don't deserve a like, I don't know. I think I'm a communist, my brother, because I'm working for free at 7 o'clock. What the fuck, Matty? You have to pay me double on that shit, brother.
But Topuria tweeted today that he's entering fight camp. So this guy is like, and you know he's only fighting for a belt. He said he refuses to fight unless it's for a belt. So here's what we know definitively. He's entering his fight camp for International Fight Week, right? Which is what, mid-June? And Topuria is going to be fighting for the belt in International Fight Week. What I've come to the conclusion, I'm reading between the lines here. I think the UFC is going to punish Arman Tsarukyan. I think they're going to put Charles Oliveira versus Topuria for the main event of International Fight Week. I think Islam's going to vacate, dude. I really do. I think they're going to put Topuria versus Charles for the belt at 155 for International Fight Week. And then I think Islam's going to either vacate the belt and just wait to see what happens with Jack Della Maddalena and Bilal.
Man, that's a tough time for the UFC. Imagine two champions vacating, like Topuria and Islam.
Yeah.
You know, that's not something
Let me ask you a
usual.
question, though. So, how similar do you think these fights are? Do you think Topuria versus Islam is just way bigger than Topuria
You mean Topuria?
Yeah, I'm saying saying Topuria versus Charles Oliveira compared to Topuria versus Makhachev. Do you think those fights are just way different? Like, do you think the Islam versus Topuria is just so much bigger? Because I think they're
So much bigger.
You think?
So much
Just
bigger.
because of the hype.
No,
But
because
Charles
one
is still
is
such a big name.
Yeah,
bro.
but how many title defense
Right.
Islam has?
Is it 4?
How
four?
long he's undefeated?
Is it 3? It's been a long...
Fucking 12 fights, 13 fights, something like that. He is a dominant champion right now.
I think he is. Yeah, he's
Yeah, but
27
that
and
doesn't
1.
matter. I'm telling you, the
yeah.
numbers are different. I know people gonna hate me for saying that, and
He's
some
4
people
title defenses.
some people
since-
say I'm jealous of Charles Oliveira just because I'm going to say that, but I'm saying the truth.
Yeah.
his win against Chandler didn't age well.
Yeah. No, that's very true. Very true.
Didn't age very well.
Yeah.
So how are you gonna fight for the belt that you beat a guy that Paddy fucking Pimblett did better than you, right?
Honestly, his loss versus Armin was more impressive than his win versus Chandler. Do you agree? Because Charles Oliveira's loss versus Armin Sarukian, because it was a split decision, and he had him in trouble twice. He had a guillotine that he almost made him tap in. It was very close. I think that loss was more impressive than the decision win over Chandler.
Yeah, exactly. So that's my whole point.
Yeah.
And after that, he beat Dariush, right? And Dariush now is in a losing streak.
Yeah, that was a round one
and
KO.
he's getting old, you know?
Gagey submission round one. I mean, the guy did go on a tear, right? I still think that's an exciting fight, but how do you think it goes? So Topuria versus Charles Oliveira, how does that fight go?
Brother, this is not fucking interview, brother. You fucking interview me. I want to ask you, bro.
I think we're going to say the same thing. I think Topuria
so let me hear. Let me hear.
By knockout, bro. Topuria by knockout.
Look at them guy. He doesn't like Charles Oliveira, my brother.
Yeah, dude. I bet on Charles a ton. I love Charles Oliveira.
I don't think it's an easy fight for Charles, too. Not an easy fight.
Yeah.
And let's be honest. That's not an easy fight for nobody.
Yeah.
You know, Topuria, he's fucking good.
Yeah.
You know?
Both of them have the power on the feet to hurt the other guy. Like Charles has some really improved boxing.
Yeah, maybe people are taking.
Yeah. Yeah, but Islam's just so hard to hit with. He's been susceptible to head kicks, but in boxing range, look at the Josh Emmett fight.
No, Topuria.
I'm sorry, Topuria. If you look at Topuria's fights, the only time he's ever been in danger was a head kick by Jai Herbert. The only time he's ever been in danger in his entire UFC career.
That's true.
But when he's in boxing range, he'll sit in the pocket with Josh Emmett and just dodge punches and return, and counter him. So that's the thing. That's the problem I have. I just think stylistically it's a bad matchup for Charles because he can defend the takedowns, he can defend the grappling, and
he's younger.
I think he's better, cleaner boxing and head movement. I think it's going to take one or two shots to chin Oliveira in that fight. So
yeah, that's not an easy fight for Oliveira at all. But we have been talking about this for a long time. Yeah. The lightweight division right now is a mess. Yeah. Because of UFC 311. That's the truth, you know?
Yeah.
Ahmad Sarukian, he fucked up the schedule, right?
Yeah, he really did.
But that was good because for me, I made a lot of money. I made good money. My YouTube channel, especially on Portuguese, is doing great. I got a lot of deals, my brother.
So you have zero regrets, right? Zero regrets. Hey,
No.
and you didn't even take any damage either, bro.
Yeah, and and maybe if one day Islam Makhachev has some CTE, I contribute to that, my brother. So all jokes aside, the lightweight right now is on a mess because of this. Because let's see what's going on.
For sure.
Islam Makhachev doesn't want to fight Topuria, right?
Correct.
But he doesn't want to fight. He doesn't want to move up because Belal is his friend, not his friend, but
I feel like he would rather move up and fight Belal than fight Topuria. I think Khabib's in his ear.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what my gut says. I have obviously no insight.
Of no clue. Yeah. But no matter what, then you have Charles. Charles wants to fight for the belt, and then you have Arman, and then you have Gaethje wanting to fight for the belt, and doesn't make any sense.
Right.
But still,
Yeah.
So all these guys, they don't want to fight each other. They want to fight for the belt, but at the same time, Islam maybe is moving up. So the division is fucking crazy.
It is strange. It seems like the whole sport of MMA right now is in a weird position.
It is. Like I said,
you got things going on in other organizations that people aren't happy. The fighters are bitching.
PFL.
All these organizations, it's like
Say the name, brother.
Ariel tweeted today that the sport of MMA is in a recession right now. Do you agree with that?
I
think
don't
that's
know.
a little dramatic.
Yeah, that's a lot of dramatic.
But I will say that there are things going on that you're just you do kind of reminisce to the good days of the sport, where
the days the fighter were slaves, right?
No.
They just
I'm just talking about
I'm
talking about the active star power,
Yes,
where guys were fighting all the time and they were big superstars but I feel like that's just how the sport sport goes.
That's the problem. Yeah. International Fight Week, we doesn't have the name, you know?
I know. That's why I think Topuria versus Charles is a good start. I think they're gonna make.
But brother, that's not International Fight Week,
Yeah. But what is though? John
What
Jones
is
versus John Jones versus
Aspinal?
Aspinal.
Yeah,
But
or,
who?
or McGregor and Chandler.
Yeah. But
That's not happening, right? But man, it's just you
see
can
their
hate
tweets
me.
today?
Yeah, I saw. Motherfucker is crazy.
There's no way it's serious. Like Conor has to be.
You know
fucking
how
with him,
crazy
right?
Conor McGregor? He went to
Yeah.
Tucker Carlson. He was talking about all sort of shit, my brother. Say,
Yeah.
how this motherfucker has the courage,
Yeah.
to go over there and talk like that, brother. He's talking big game on politics. This guy is fucking crazy. And you know what's funny? The other day I was on the Easter, right?
Yeah.
It was Sunday.
Yeah.
And then I went on a table and the mother of a friend of my wife,
Yeah.
like was a
Right.
78 something lady, very old lady
Yeah.
that doesn't have a clue about MMA.
Right.
And she started to talk about how good McGregor would be a president, brother.
No.
Really. She doesn't have a clue. She doesn't know I was a
Yeah.
fighter,
Yeah.
And she was talking about, you know what?
She didn't even know you were a fighter?
No.
That's
Like
crazy.
I was in a friend's house. And then she
Yeah.
started to talk about how Conor McGregor will make Ireland good again, great again. And I said,
Hey.
that lady doesn't know what she's talking about,
Where is she from? Like, where's the lady from?
No, she's from Florida.
Okay.
But she was talking
She's
all
watching politics.
She's
and,
just watching politics and say like Ireland is in a fucking mess right now.
Hey, I'll tell you one thing. If there's anything Conor's good at, it's being a salesman and talking. you
Brother,
know?
that's what I'm saying.
I think the lady just like drinking the juice, drinking the Kool-Aid.
100%, my
she's
brother.
watching it,
That's why I hate so much democracy, my brother. That's why when people say, hey, democracy, you know what's democracy? Is a popularity contest.
Yeah, yeah.
It
really is.
you can get somebody that doesn't know how to do the job and people gonna fall for it. But my whole argument was not about politics. My whole argument was if you have a lady that has no clue about fighting, 17 plus years, and she not only knows who McGregor is, she thinks McGregor will be a good president in Ireland. That's the guy that we need in International Fight Week, That's my whole point. That's my whole point,
Do you know anything about? Because I don't know a single thing. I don't even know who the president is there.
No, I don't know
Do you have any idea?
No.
Is it that crazy? Maybe McGregor would be a better president. We don't know.
I would fucking vote for him every day, bro. I don't even care, bro. Imagine a world that we have McGregor president. That would be fucking fun, my bro.
Dude, that would be hilarious.
Imagine him.
Imagine someone 20 years ago said Donald Trump is going to be president and Conor McGregor after that.
Exactly, my
they
brother.
would-
You have to love the future, my brother.
Yeah, you really do.
But my whole point was this,
This is him for you guys if you wanted to see what he looked like.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's the president.
president of Ireland.
Look at this
Michael D. Higgins.
motherfucker,
He
bro.
kind of looks like a Bernie Sanders.
He gives me a
Joe
Bernie
Biden-
vibes.
Yeah.
Joe Biden had a kid with
He,
Bernie Sanders.
he looks
bro.
like a Bernie Sanders on crack, my brother. A drug addict, my brother. This motherfucker look like a leprechaun. Put McGregor on his fucking place. Doesn't matter, brother. Nobody controls that shit. It's the fucking, the Illuminati. They run the government, my brother.
Yeah. I saw Conor was saying he wasn't either old enough, he wasn't of age, or he couldn't because of some requirements. I don't know, but that is crazy.
So do you think maybe this is because social media? Because 10 years ago, when McGregor was on his prime, the cable TVs, they were still, I don't know here, but in Brazil, whatever they say on TV was big, and Conor was on the big TV.
Yeah.
Nowadays, you have some motherfuckers in TikTok that have thousands of hundreds of millions of followers, and you don't know. You know what I mean?
It's changed a lot for sure.
So maybe, I don't know, we don't have your point is we don't have the same champions,
Yeah. No, that's true.
Maybe that's why they wanted Chimaev so bad to fight on the International Fight Week, because
sure.
he could be a star like Conor.
Yeah. Well, you saw, so Jurgis Duplessis, so they had a good back and forth. Duplessis obviously out with injury of some sort. And, Khamzat Chimaev was like, this guy is bullshit. And Jurgis Duplessis, I don't care what nobody says. I think Duplessis is kind of like the best in the entire UFC right now as far as like clapbacks and talking trash. And he just knows what to say, whether it's on a mic
He's the
or
best
he's
trash
very
talker.
good at it, right?
Very good.
And he came back to Khamzat on Twitter and said, bro, look what I've done in the past 2-3 years versus what you've done. You've dropped out of 3 fights. He's like, this is my first or second time dropping out of a fight.
As a champion.
Yeah, and he's backed up everything he's done in the UFC. So I understand the frustration, though. I mean, Khamzat feels like he probably feels like he's in his prime and ready to finally like make that move for the belt. But that was disappointing, bro. It's just all these things happening at the same time, right? Jones versus Aspinal probably not happening. Topuria versus Hamzat probably not happening. DDP
That's Hamzat,
versus,
no, that's Islam.
yeah, Topuria versus Islam. DDP versus Hamzat. It's like all these fights really aren't going to happen this year.
What about Paddy versus Topuria?
I don't think the UFC wants to.
I know, but would you watch that shit?
Of course I would watch it, but I think the UFC wants to milk their cash cow a little longer. Like, I think that, like...
Especially the way that plays out, right?
Yeah.
These motherfuckers know how to play the game. Michael Chandler on the right time, you
so
know?
Smart, bro.
They are fucking so smart,
bro. That fight started off as a pick'em, and then very slowly Paddy started creeping up as a big favorite going in the fight week, and I just knew it right away. You know what really crushed me, though, is I took Paddy by sub, bro, and he fucked me. He got the KO, the TKO. He put the sub attempt in on the ground, and then Chandler got out of it, and then he was like, "Fuck this," and he just started.
Yeah,
you know, but
it made the right choice.
Yeah, no, it crushed me though. But, all right, should we move on to the card, or what else are you thinking here, bro? DDP, yeah, the DDP injury, we covered that. Poatan versus Ankalaev. I want to get your thoughts on that first before we move on, because do you think Poatan like wants that rematch, or do you think he just wants Ankalaev to fight someone first, take some time off?
Brother, I don't know. I just want to point out something.
Yeah.
You know how motherfucker Brazilians are, my brother? Let me tell you something. Go to Poatan YouTube channel, Masvidal. Go to Poatan YouTube channel, and then you check the numbers, my brother.
Killing it.
No. Fucking before the fight against Ankalaev, he was fucking doing
huge
huge numbers.
You're saying he's regressed.
His last 4 days, he's making little views on his YouTube channel.
What's the name?
Yeah, but how much of that has to do
Alex Poatan.
How much
the content?
I think a lot of that is not even that. It's more about the fact that, you know how it is, you have hype around you when you're before and after fights, versus when you have no active fights coming up, people like don't watch your content as much.
No, but before, when he was champ,
yeah,
even if he doesn't have a fight, like huge numbers.
You just have crazy momentum.
Yeah, crazy momentum. I just think people love a champion, and the numbers show. Alex Pereira.
Pereira. Yeah.
You know, but
you can,
you don't even need to show. You know, this is just for us. If you see at the numbers, my brother.
He's got 600K subs.
Yeah, but look at the videos.
Yeah.
You know, most of Brazilians. But look at this, bro.
Oh yeah.
Like, look at this and look before.
That is crazy.
That is crazy, brother.
Yeah, you're talking 100 to 300K views.
To 15K.
Under 50K.
Yeah, like crazy, and that's just because people love champions. So that's just the reality, right, from the UFC. So that's why you have to take advantage of that. So
for sure.
So I think Poatan knows that, and he needs to get back to the championship. So I think he wants to hype up the fight.
You think the fight would go any differently the second time around?
I don't really know.
Yeah.
I don't really know.
I'd like to think Poatan would be more aggressive.
I think he would lose again.
Again?
Yeah.
The same way, or you think?
Actually, I'm not giving my opinion based on something, you know, because when I watched the fight, the first time that I watched the fight live, I thought he was destroyed. Not destroyed, but he lost very...
Yeah, when you rewatch it, it was closer.
When we watched, it was closer than I thought,
I agree, because when I watched it live, I thought he only won 1 round. Like, round 2, he almost got put away. He didn't throw any volume, bro. He was not aggressive.
Yeah, and the takedown was on point. The takedown defense was on point.
It was great. If you knew going into the fight he was going to stuff
But that's a fight that you
takedown.
really... That's a fight that you really want to watch. Would you pay that to watch?
It doesn't get me excited. Of course I'm going to watch it and bet on it, but like, you know, it doesn't get me excited, bro. Like, honestly, the Jamal Hill fight I was excited for going into it. The Yuri Prochazka fight, like, you know, I don't know what it is.
This last one, I was excited to watch, but not the second.
Not after,
Yeah, not after, you know?
Yeah, I don't know.
And now I understand, because the same thing, the same way that I was trashing the fans about the YouTube channel, as a fan, sometimes you just
you get
lose interest, right?
Yeah, 100%.
And it is what it is. That's why you have to be
very hard to keep the interest of people these days. There's so many things that they can look at and watch and entertain themselves with, and you know, it's an attention-based world. Everyone's fighting for attention, which is the #1 asset. All right, let's move on to the card. Before we do, guys, our boy Hey Jive picks on absolute fire on the betting predictions. He is up, between him and Nolan both, they're up a combined 50 units. That means if you're a $100 bettor, you're up over $5,000 just in this calendar year alone. He went up over 100 units last year. That's a $10,000 a year if you're a $100 bettor. If you guys want, check the link out in the description of the video. Code SHOWME is the promo code that will get you 7 days for free. So if you sign up this week for the picks for this Saturday, you're going to get the entire weekend for free. That's the USC Kansas City card. Moicano stepped away for 1 second, so we'll come back to it. We'll be back in just a minute. But I can't emphasize enough, go check out that winnable link, winnable.com/HOF picks. Code SHOWME. You get Hayden's picks, you get Nolan's picks. My picks and my long shot plays are always free every single week, but those guys are absolutely the most consistent handicappers in the game in MMA, or in the sport of MMA. They're now giving out PFL, bare knuckle, UFC, of course, pretty much all combat sports, boxing sometimes as well. So you guys go check that out. We got a very fun UFC Kansas City card as Moicano comes back here. We got Ian Garry versus Carlos Prates. We got Anthony Smith versus Zan. We got Michel Pereira versus Magomedov. Magomedov is a good one. We got a lot of good fights, bro. Have you looked at the card yet?
Yes.
You do your predictions yet?
No.
Okay. So
no, but I have some ideas.
Okay.
Oh no, you mean for
this Saturday?
Next Saturday.
This Saturday.
Like the Carlos Prates. I did my predictions.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, actually, he's doing pretty well.
All right, so let's start with the main event and work our way down.
Okay.
So let's start with Ian Garry versus Carlos Prates. I'm with you. I already know you talked about this on our last episode. Here's the way I look at the fight. Ian Garry can absolutely win a decision here, but I think Carlos Prates is just more dangerous, bro. And I don't trust Ian Garry. We've seen Ian Garry be hit and hurt in the UFC. Now, Ian Garry has the better striking volume. He's the better striking accuracy. He's the better striking defense. But it doesn't matter because Carlos Prates is going to find that shot, bro.
5 rounds.
He's too lethal, in my opinion. How do you feel about his takedown defense? Because we see when Ian Garry fights elite strikers, he will grapple, hence the MVP fight. You know, he grappled Shavkat, MVP. I think Carlos Prates would starch Shavkat. I really do, because Shavkat has no head movement.
Yes.
I think Carlos Prates.
You almost dropped him.
Yeah, 100%. I think MVP would be. I think MVP might even be a tougher fight for Prates than Ian Garry. Truthfully.
Yes.
Stylistically,
of course.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
I agree.
I'm going Carlos Prates by knockout. Now, I won't be surprised if he gets that fucking ninja choke if Ian Garry wrestles.
No.
You don't think it's possible?
No.
Did you think the John Silva ninja choke was possible, though?
No.
Exactly.
No.
And it's in the same camp and fighting nerds.
What happened? So now they know.
That's true. But Ian
they
Garry...
predict. You have to understand
Bryce Mitchell could defend it better than Ian Garry, though. He's a grappler.
But he was not expecting,
Yeah.
I think the whole camp, he was like, okay, I'm going to take this guy down. He's not going to try to grapple.
That's true.
And then he showed up. So I think on the back of his head, Carlos Prates say, hey, this motherfucker can try this,
Yeah.
Because it happened.
Do you think Ian Garry's going to be able to actually get takedowns, though, against Prates?
I don't think so.
He's long and strong.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I have been talking about this a little bit. People think that because Ian Garry is training with shootboxing and Charles and Damian Maia, he will become a grappler. He's getting better. I know he's very talented. Gilbert talked about this so many times, that how fast he learns, but still grappling and like to have the consistency take years,
But he got Shavkat's back. Did that surprise you? That surprised the shit out of me.
Yes.
He had a rear naked choke.
But don't you remember that I think Shavkat was hurt or something on that fight? That's why he's not fighting until now. So I don't think we saw the best Shavkat,
I agree with that.
So
and somehow he won too.
Yeah, so my whole point is I don't think Ian Garry will be able to out-grapple Carlos Prates. And he's been talking shit. He's saying he's going to knock him out.
I know.
I think that's very good, I like to watch that shit. Yeah. I just think 5 rounds.
Has some good hype behind it, I think. Like, both guys kind of talking shit back and forth. I mean, this main event is going to carry this card, honestly. And if we actually get a 5-round striking match, it's going to be a fun one, because I think Prates is going to be marching forward and Ian Garry's going to be landing some nice counter shots. And then I think that it comes down to, can Carlos Prates land a nice combination and really hurt Ian Garry? And I think he can.
Yeah,
really
I
do.
mean, you're talking about this fight going to carry the card. I don't think
Well, it's a good card overall, but
It's
I'm
a
saying
good card.
that fight's very exciting.
he's very excited. But
So what's your final prediction on the fight? How does it end, and who do you got?
you have to go with the Carlos cigarettes, my brother.
I'm going Carlos Prates, round 3 KO.
Yeah,
Round 3 KO.
I'm tailing, my brother.
Let's go. How many cigarettes do you think he's going to smoke the day before the fight, bro?
Imagine if they open props for that.
All right,
I would
let me
say in
ask
a
you
fight
this, let me
day,
ask you this.
7.
Would you
7 is
take
a good number.
Would you take the over or under of 12.5 cigarettes
I think over.
in 2 days before the fight?
Over, ish, for sure. For
Over?
sure. Probably it's going to be 15 a day.
15 a
At
day?
least I don't smoke, you know. But if I did,
Yeah.
I would be nervous and then I would be smoking, you know.
okay.
Don't you think so?
So he said he lowered it a little bit just because he wanted to put good weight on, like get stronger and bigger.
That doesn't make sense,
I mean,
right?
smoking cigarettes stops you from eating, apparently.
Yeah?
I've never hit a cigarette in my life.
Yeah,
Not one time.
it's about time, my brother.
No, I hate it. I hate the smell of it. I mean, I've smoked weed before, but I've never smoked a cigarette in my
Look at the degeneration, my brother.
life. Hey, I've never smoked a cigarette before.
No,
in my
weed
life.
is medicinal, my brother.
Yeah. So, all right, co-main event. Our very own Anthony Smith from the On Paper podcast facing a killer who is every single win has been in round 1 in Zan. This guy is 10 years younger than Anthony Smith, Zan Minyan. He's a minus 600 favorite, which I think is a little disrespectful here, bias aside. I'll tell you one thing, Moicano. Tell me if you agree with this. People can say what they want about Anthony Smith, but the guy survives, bro. If he gets hurt, he doesn't get
Yes.
put away easy.
No.
You know, look at the Ryan Spann fight. You know,
Glover
survived
Teixeira.
early. Look at the Glover Teixeira
John
fight.
Jones.
Is it crazy to think that Anthony Smith can weather a storm here in the first round and rally in round 2 or 3?
I have to ask you that.
Yeah.
Is Anthony Smith officially our co-worker?
Yeah.
So we need to take it easy on him,
Yeah.
right?
Hey,
I cannot go
but
full force.
To be fair,
I cannot go full force.
You say
my brother.
anything against your teammates, so it's no different.
Yeah, but that is a fiduciary value over here, my brother. You know.
Fair.
You
But
cannot. One thing.
Genuinely though, do you think he has a chance to weather the storm and have success in this fight? Because he's a big underdog.
Brother, he did before, right? He did before against the Brazilian guy. They brought him to Brazil to get smashed by Vitor Petrino, and he found the guillotine
guillotined him.
choke,
Yeah,
you
that
know?
was nasty.
He was a huge underdog.
Huge.
So I'm not going to count him out,
Yeah.
but this guy is very dangerous, and I think he's
sure.
losing.
Yeah.
Anthony Smith.
No, he is dangerous.
But on the betting side, I think he has value.
I agree.
How big is the underdog, Anthony Smith?
So if you guys check out betopenly.com, peer-to-peer betting in the description, he is over a 5-1 underdog, I believe, plus 500 on Bet Openly. That's a crazy number. 5-1 against the career vet with 38 wins in MMA. Now, here's the other thing to think about. That loss against Dominic Reyes is not as bad now. Reyes is on a tear.
I'm sorry, I know we are in the podcast, but read this match and see how crazy it is. Our instructor.
Wow.
Brother, how crazy is that? I'm not gonna. Only thing that I want to talk to you guys. I'm about to open a gym, Kingdom Martial Arts.
Let's go.
So when we hit 50K subs, we're going to spar motherfuckers over there.
Yeah.
But it's a family, you know, gym.
Yeah.
So if you want to bring your kid, learn some martial arts, have some good time, I think we could even record a podcast over there to give exposure, right?
100%. Yeah,
We could set up the stuff
Yeah.
and do a podcast over there and invite some fans.
Where is it at again?
Coral Springs.
Coral Springs.
You know, the last
Okay.
time I mess up and I say Coconut Creek. No, it's Coral Springs.
Yeah,
remember?
yeah.
I don't
Coral
even know
Springs.
my business address, but
And
that's
when's that opening?
like a month.
In a
Like
month,
it's
okay.
very, you know, go to the Instagram, follow our page, and thank you for the patience. I'm sorry for interrupting the
No, you're
podcast
good, bro.
for this, but what we talking about before?
Anthony Smith.
Anthony Smith. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think he has some good value as the underdog, but
Yeah.
don't put the house, right?
I would never say bet the house on an underdog like that, you know. I just think you can
Only
sprinkle, like Gilbert said, a little sprinkle.
Yeah.
You know, Anthony Smith round 2-3, you just never know, bro.
But then you contradicting yourself
How?
because Gilbert probably is going to be a big underdog.
Yeah, but
And you're gonna put the house.
So he's a 3-1 underdog. Anthony's like a 5-1, 6-1.
Almost
It's
this?
like twice the size.
Okay.
I'm not gonna put the house on Gilbert though. I'm gonna put
Man, the level.
I'm gonna
of-
put some cash on him. I'm gonna put some good cash on him. But
Tell me, how much?
I mean, I'll probably put 10K on him to win 40.
10K?
10K, please.
Oh, are you
40.
fucking in a trouble situation, my brother?
Bro, I won 10K on.
Are you fucking on welfare or
your
something?
Jalen Turner fight? I put 10K on you.
That was little money.
You know,
before.
you want to know honestly? I hate to tell you this, but the most money I ever had on you is in the Islam fight.
Really?
You know why?
How much
Because
money?
If you would have pulled off the upset, I would have won like 150K because you were a huge fucking underdog, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you would have pulled it off, I would have won 6 figures on you, bro. We would have been celebrating.
Yeah, imagine the rematch. But it is what it is, brother. That is
The
going.
rematch, you would have got paid.
Yeah, that is going, my brother. But it is okay.
Yeah. Yeah, the official pick, I'm going to pick Anthony Smith. I'm gonna stick with him. I'm going to say round 3 submission, Anthony Smith is my final prediction.
Round
But
1 knockout.
It's going to be very hard. I think if Anthony gets knocked out, it's going to be round 2.
Round
I
2?
think he survives the first round.
No, I think his nickname fits him very well, Lionheart, because
100%.
on that title fight against John Jones, I think he could take the easy route, right? The Aljamain route, and I like Aljamain, but the Aljamain is such a cool dude, but he took the easy route.
Let me ask you something. If Anthony Smith could go back in time to that, you think he would do the same thing?
No.
You don't think?
If it was me, I would not do the same thing.
You would take
Give me the
route?
belt, give me the money, and next time I'm getting pay-per-view points. Let's be honest.
Yeah. I think Anthony would honestly look us in the eye and be like, I'll do the same thing, and I believe him. But I don't know. We've never asked him.
No, I'm joking. Maybe I would not.
You get a ton of respect for that, but respect doesn't always pay the bills.
No, fucking respect, brother.
Yeah.
But the problem is you with yourself.
Yeah.
I remember on the RDA fight, I could give it up because it was a flat money, it was a short notice, I got good money, and I could give up. But it's just tough when you're over there and you can't continue and you stop, They're going to haunt you for the rest of your life.
Like Cody Brundage. Cody Brundage had that fight where he literally got mauled illegally, and people want, if you can't continue, if you literally are jeopardized because of a DQable offense, it's like you shouldn't go in there and just continue because then you're just gonna get knocked out and then it's even worse.
Yeah.
So it's more about the fans just saying shit. Like the fans don't actually know if you're compromised or not, and
nobody knows. It's only you,
100%. But some people can see so you can tell sometimes when it's bad versus not that bad, like on a knee or a groin shot or something.
Like a fan, you mean? Like you can tell if it's good.
I just think there's some that are more severe than others.
Yes.
Right. And then you're like, you start to question.
But Anthony Smith was a full blow knee to the.
And he continued,
and
which
he
is
continued.
so respectable.
That's right.
Yeah.
But again, respect don't pay the bills.
Yeah, for sure.
But I appreciate that, I think. And my point is, even if he took the belt and they took the easy route, maybe when he's sleeping, I'm a fucking scumbag,
Yeah.
For doing that.
Oh yeah, you have to look yourself in the mirror.
Yeah,
and you have to be able to sleep at night.
Yeah.
And he probably is he's able to do that because, he's a warrior. He's
he knows he's not gonna give up.
Yeah. 100%.
That's what I'm saying. So it's a tough question because at the end of the day, it's a lot of money, the difference.
Right. Well,
And
because think about
fighters don't get
the
that
domino effect
pay.
of it. Just like we were talking about, if you would have beat Islam, not only is it huge to win that fight, but then you're fighting again for even more money and even more momentum. So it's in betting we call it a swing. You know what a swing is?
No, swing is like.
Yeah, but all right, so think about a swing that goes back and forth, right? If you win a bet, it's the difference between a win and a loss on a swing is this big, right? So it's like if a swing goes here and your bet would have won, you're all the way up here. But then your bet loses, it goes all the way to here. So that's a big difference. It's like a swing bet is a big loss, right? So in a fight, it's like if you beat Islam, you not only would have won a lot and got a lot of momentum and notoriety and everything but then the momentum of that swing carries you to the next fight where you're getting paid more. And then if you win that fight, next thing you know how it is, you're a fucking superstar. So
bro, what's funny?
Yeah.
I didn't understand that thing, my bro. Motherfucker is ranting. No, but listen. No, let's move up. Let me ask you something.
Yeah.
I'm going to do the same way that I do with ChatGPT. ChatGPT.
Let me explain it a different way.
I'm asking you like the ChatGPT, ChatGPT, and MathGPT. MathGPT, please explain me this like I'm 5 years old.
I'm gonna do it in numbers. You'll understand it now. Okay. Let's say
I always were bad with math.
So no, you'll understand this. You're gonna understand it instantly now. Let's say I bet you 10K on heads or tails, right? Like we flip a coin. If I win, if I bet you heads and the coin is heads, right? I win 10,000 from you, right? But if I bet the coin is heads and it goes tails, I lose 10,000.
Yeah.
That's a $20,000 swing.
Okay.
Right? So 10,000 is the win. 10,000 is the loss here. That's a $20,000 swing. Does that make sense? That's what it means.
Okay.
So it's just a big swing. Like it's a swing in his career. It's a big swing in his career. That's what I was trying to say.
You know, it's funny because you're talking about that, the swings and the betting.
Yeah.
I remember when we are at the casino, right? And I was making money, and I say, "Hey, I'm in a good spot. I want to play more. I want to double down." And this guy say, "No, you go home now. You go home now.
Yeah.
Take to the car." So maybe you can do this to other people, but you cannot do to yourself.
Well,
is that
because
true?
I know from experience, and because last time we went to the casino, you went all in on the last game of the night, and you lost. So I don't want that to happen again because you were winning all night, both times.
That's the swinging, right?
Yes. So that's a swing. It's like if you go all in and lose, that's a big swing, right? Because like if you win, you double your money, but if you lose, you go to zero. That's a big swing. That's So that's what it means.
That makes sense.
Co-main event: Giga Chikadze versus David Onama.
I think that's a very
good fight.
underrated fight.
Very close
I think
fight.
that's going to be a very good fight.
Yeah.
Giga Chikadze impressed me so much when he showed up to the UFC. I think he had like 6 or 7 win streak, right?
Yeah.
And he was knocking out Edson Barboza, Cub Swanson, veterans but good strikers.
Yeah.
And then he got stopped by Calvin Kattar. And I think decision, but I think he was stopped. And I mean the momentum.
Yeah.
Because he fell, right? Was not a takedown. He fell on the first and the second round, and then the fight changed.
Yeah.
Because he was not very good at the ground.
Right.
And then he lost to Arnold Allen.
Yeah.
But I think now UFC wants to fuck him up, They
want to prop up Onama.
Yes.
But it's a hard fight for Onama too.
Yeah, it's a fight. It's a hard fight for Onama, but they see, hey, I think this guy hit the ceiling,
Yeah.
So I think we're going to transfer his hype for another fighter.
That's fair. I will say though, Arnold Allen's a freaking killer, bro. And he went to decision with Arnold Allen. He beat Alex Caceres. The Calvin Kattar fight, he landed 128 strikes against him in 5 rounds. This is a very close fight. I think the fight goes the distance either way, and it's a split decision, in my opinion.
I go with Dave Onama.
You think David Onama could mix it up better, like grappling and striking?
No.
You don't think?
No.
You think it's straight striking?
He's a pure striker, But Giga Chikadze is better with the kicks, and I think Onama always go to brawl. Yeah. Do you remember his fight against Nate, the Train?
He lost that though.
He lost that, but he was swinging. Yeah. He was swinging the whole night.
That's what that loss concerns me though, because I think Giga can win a decision similarly. I'm very torn on this fight, and Giga has new coaches. You know that?
No, he's not training at King's MMA.
I saw one of his coach tweet back at us saying that he's new coaching and he's looking for a finish or something. I can't remember what he said. Or something like that.
The hype that we were talking about is the same with MMA gyms too.
Yeah.
You remember when Kings they had like. RDA, and they had Verdun, and they had Alco, and now they are like kind of losing, right?
Yeah.
Do you think it was because the head coach went to train Mike Tyson?
I don't know, honestly. I didn't really.
No, we don't know. Yeah,
I haven't really called or like stayed up with all that. All right, so you're going Onama. Oh, I'm so torn. I'm gonna go David Onama because I agree with Moicano that I do think the UFC is trying to build him. But, man, that's a tough fight for both sides. I really do think it's a tough fight. It's going to come down to the scorecards. Let's move on. This is one of my more exciting fights of the night. Michel Pereira versus Abus Magomedov.
100%.
I'll tell you what. I think Abus is better than people think. I really do. He faded against Sean Strickland. He ran out of gas and he got TKO'd.
That's his problem.
But I think he's improved. But in a way, Michel Pereira has a little bit. They both kind of run out of gas a little bit.
Yeah, but did you see this week Strickland saying that Michel Pereira only trained for 2 weeks
in that against Fluffy.
Against Fluffy.
That's the last person you want to train for only 2 weeks
Yeah,
against. Okay.
yeah.
Fluffy's an animal.
And he was all around the place, you know, Michel Pereira. He was very hype, you know.
Michel was on a 3-fight round 1 finish streak before losing the Fluffy.
Yeah.
Do you think he can get back on track?
100%. And that's bad because Abu's training is at the American top team, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I think he's losing, you know. I think he's losing because Michel Pereira, like I say, people are like discrediting him to...
Fluffy's so good.
Fluffy's so good, brother.
You think Fluffy can become champ?
185, right?
Yeah.
No.
You don't
Put him against Chimaev.
You don't think he can beat Duplessis?
No.
I think he can drown Duplessis. But I don't know. I love Duplessis too, though.
Yeah.
Caio
Borralho, I don't think he
Borralho.
can beat Caio Borralho.
I think
know?
he's better grappling than everyone except Hamzat, though. And Hamzat's he's better cardio than Hamzat, so I don't know.
I like to watch Fluffy a lot. He's like...
He's good.
You see him and you don't think this guy's a fighter, you know? But he's a fucking good fighter.
No, I agree.
You know, so...
You're going with Michel, though.
100%. 100%.
Over Magomedov.
Because Fluffy's so good that make Michel Pereira
it's
look
like a
bad.
buy low spot on Michel Pereira.
Yeah.
Because of the Fluffy fight. I
Yeah,
agree
because
with
of the Fluffy fight. And I think Michel Pereira is way better than Abus at striking. And Abus is not a wrestler.
This is good striking, though.
Michel Pereira is more dynamic and more explosive.
Yeah.
As long as he doesn't backflip in the fight, he's going to be fine.
Yeah, and
right?
it seems like when Abus fights high-level guys is when he loses. He lost to Caio. He lost to Strickland. The guys he's beaten, Dustin Stolfus, Warley Alves, Bruno Ferreira. I did like the submission win.
A couple of these guys are not even on the UFC anymore.
Yeah. Alves isn't. Is Dustin? I think Dustin isn't either.
Yeah, now, you know.
Just
So-
Bruno. Bruno got a nice submission win a couple months back, but
Yeah.
the other two guys I think aren't UFC anymore.
Yeah.
Damn, I'm torn on this fight too. I'm gonna go with. I think Abus is more technical though. Abus is the underdog.
But Michel Pereira is -1.
Who do you think is better grappling? Because Michel likes to get submissions too,
I
but
don't
Bruno subbed or Abus subbed Bruno Ferreira. The arm triangle.
Yeah, but
With his tire, maybe.
no, I think he got knocked down and then he went for the choke. He didn't?
But I don't think either guy can sub the other guy without hurting them first.
Yes, no,
Yeah.
he's not gonna. They're not gonna shoot for takedowns.
Yeah.
And
I want,
even though Michel Pereira gas tank is bad, I think Abus is worse, right?
yeah.
I don't know.
Michel
I could be wrong.
Pereira, the striking defense of Michel Pereira, 52%. Abus is 55%. Striking accuracy, 44 for Abus to 53 for Michel. That's a big difference. I'm going Michel Pereira. It's very close though. Let's move on.
Very crazy, my
I'd
brother.
love to hear. I want to really hear your opinion on this one. Randy Brown versus Nicholas Dalby. I think Nicholas Dalby's a live underdog here. No.
No,
Randy Brown.
Randy Brown. Nicholas Dalby is 40 years old, 41 years old.
Yeah, but he does not slow down.
No. Yeah, he beat Gabriel Bonfim. That's a very good fighter. But he got tired, you know. Gabriel Bonfim tried to finish him. The thing is, this Dalby is a solid fighter. And he does have a good gas tank and he's durable. You know, he can take a punch, he can keep going. His fight against Renato was a split decision. He is
Could've gone either
consistent.
way, yeah.
Yeah, but Randy Brown is very tall, you know.
Very.
That fight is not going to the ground.
He's gonna stay on the outside and
Stay on the
But
outside.
did you see the Randy Brown Ryan Battle fight? Ryan Battle was able to push him up against the cage.
But don't you think Brian Battle is better striking than Dalby? The style are completely
better,
different.
yeah.
Dalby is more like a karate guy. He likes the stance, you know.
Yeah.
Even though he clinches, he's not a.
Yeah.
I think the other guy going to Randy Brown. Oh my God! What the fuck was that, my bro? Motherfucker has the COVID.
I have the vid. I did like Randy Brown's
COVID
performance.
2025, my brother.
I did like Randy Brown's performance against Zelensky though.
Zelensky, you mean the
not yours?
Zelensky?
Zelensky dos Santos.
They still at war over there on Ukraine, bro. You don't even know the news anymore, right?
No. All right, I'm going Randy Brown. You sold me. You sold me on Randy Brown.
Brother, you can tell this guy has no clue what he's doing this week, my brother.
No, I do, but there's a lot of fights that are just super close. Like, and I agree with you on Randy Brown. Honestly, what did it for me is the Zaleski Dos Santos decision. I liked Dos Santos got 4 takedowns, but Randy Brown was still able to
You know what's an easy bet for this card? Ikran Zliskerov against André Muniz.
That's the next fight, but he's like a 7-1 favorite, bro.
Yeah, doesn't.
All right, but you taking the finish prop?
Yes.
He finishes him. KO? TKO?
TKO.
Yeah, I like that.
TKO.
It's a little expensive price, but it should happen. It's only 3 rounds, though. Think he gets it done inside of 3?
Yes.
Okay. Andre Muniz.
How about the fight to go to the distance? What are the odds?
I don't know yet. I don't think it's out.
But what do you project? What do you think?
It's gonna be favored to not go the distance because Andre Muniz by finish is gonna be like -170. It's gonna be like -200. I'm sorry, Askharov by finish is gonna be -200. I'm going Ikram Askharov, round 1 TKO. Bounce back performance after the Robert Whittaker fight. He hasn't fought since then, right? Yeah.
No. Yeah.
Bro, that was June 2024. He flew all the way to, where was that? In
I think it was Saudi, right?
That was in Saudi Arabia, June of last year. I mean, he's now had what, a legitimate 9 months to get. Dude, I think he's gonna. And he didn't take damage in that fight.
How these guys make money?
Maybe
Maybe people giving him money, right? How you stay 9 months without fighting?
I don't know, bro. That's a good question.
The things in Russia must be cheap as fuck, right? You get 10K and you live like a king, my brother.
I'm going Ikram round 1 TKO, bro. I like that.
What's the odds? Plus money?
Round 1 might be plus money.
Ah, you don't have the odds yet.
Not yet on that one. All right. Any other fights you want to break down here?
Nope.
Polyana Viana versus Jacqueline Amarim.
That's a tough fight.
You think?
Yeah.
Everyone thinks Amarim's going to take her down and maul her, sub her. She's an elite Brazilian jiu-jitsu.
But Poliana Viana is a Brazilian jiu-jitsu black belt.
She's a striker, bro.
No.
Stop it.
No, I'm telling you.
She got mauled. Jillian Robertson mauled her on the ground for 2 rounds and then.
But Julian Robertson is good at the ground.
Yeah, but Amarim's higher level jiu-jitsu than Jillian.
What's the odds?
Amarim is -670. Polyana's +430.
That's
you know what
crazy,
I think it
the
is?
level of disrespect.
You know what I think it is, bro? I think the public perception of Polyana is that she's just like attractive and like isn't taking fighting seriously, but she has good striking on the feet.
Bro, she's a grappler. I know her.
Stop it.
She trains at ATT. She's very good at grappling.
Bro. But there's levels, as you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's look at
I don't
this.
think that fight is going to be as easy as you think.
All right, so Polyana Viana, she has 7 losses, she has 2 losses by submission.
Bryce Mitchell has
Yasmin
losses.
Lucindo arm triangled her, and remember Yasmin Lucindo couldn't even.
Yeah, but Jasmine Lucindo is very tough.
Yeah, but
she beat her first.
Do you remember when my last leg of the parlay for $100,000 was Yasmin Lucindo to win by decision against Jessica Andrade, and she lost by 29-28.
You're gonna remember that forever.
Yeah, I know that. I don't know, bro. Veronica Hardy armbarred her, Yasmin Lucindo armbarred her, and then Jillian Robertson TKO'd her on the ground. Ground strikes from back mount.
Oh,
So she's been put away. She's been put away on the ground 3 times in her last 8 fights.
Yeah, I'm not saying she's the best. I'm saying she's a grappler.
She does it. So you're right, because she does have 8 wins by submission, but I don't know if any of those. Okay, so 2 of them are in the UFC. No, 3 of them are in the UFC, but are by submission. Polyana.
She's a decent grappler.
So you're saying take Polyana by sub? That would pay a fortune.
No, I think Jacqueline will win.
Okay, I'm going
in a decision. I think it's gonna be a decision. How much the decision is paying?
It's not out yet, but that'll pay good.
So go to the decision, brother. That's base MMA math, brother.
Yeah.
2 Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu girls fighting. That's going to be a decision.
Yeah, but Jacqueline is so high level, bro. Like, look at her. All right.
I know she trains at ATT.
7 submission wins in MMA, and she's only 9-1.
4 wins in UFC. Who she
Armbar
lost?
round 1, armbar round 1.
Sam Hughes
round
is,
3 ground
is a
and
bully, right?
And Sam Hughes, she had, I was at that fight. It was 2 UFC Miamis ago. She had Sam Hughes back in a rear naked choke in round 1, and she just barely survived it. And then she gassed. Amreem gassed after that. But she almost had a sub in that one too. Her submissions are really good. I'm going Giacalini. Two more fights.
Giacalini decision. Official pick.
Okay. Cameron Simon versus Malcolm Wellmaker. Have you seen Wellmaker's fight?
No.
Good striker. This is a very good striking battle. I'm going Malcolm Wellmaker. I don't believe in Cameron Simon as much as I did before he fought Peyton Talbot.
Yeah. How long he's not fighting? He's away for a long time, I think.
Yeah, let's see when that fight was.
And you know the other guy? The guy is like he's debuting, right?
Yeah, he fought in Contender Series, I believe. So the Peyton Talbot fight was March 2024. So this guy's been off for over a year.
Yeah.
That's actually interesting. Malcolm Wellmaker, 8-0 professional MMA record. His last fight was Contender Series, clean right hook in the first round. I like this guy.
I didn't watch his fights.
All right, last fight. I got to get your opinion here. Matt Schnell versus Jimmy Flick.
Brother, that's the worst matchup on the 125 division.
I think it's an exciting matchup. I'm going my boy Jimmy Flick by submission.
Do you like Jimmy Flick?
He's an underdog, yeah.
Brother, he's small as fuck, bro.
He's what?
Small.
It's 125, bro. What do you expect?
Yeah.
Yeah, but Matt
But
Schnell,
I think he's small for a 125. And Matt
his
Schnell
jiu-jitsu is nice.
and Matt Schnell got knocked out by everybody.
Yeah, that's why it's a fun fight. It's an interesting matchup.
But Jimmy Flick never knocked out anybody.
Yeah, that's why I'm taking Jimmy Flick by submission. Listen to my logic, okay? Matt Schnell has 0 KOs in the UFC. To beat Jimmy Flick, you have to knock him out. If you give him 15 minutes, he's going to snatch a limb, bro. He's going to find something. So I think if Matt Schnell doesn't put him away, Jimmy Flick is going to eventually grab something and get it. And we've seen Schnell been subbed, bro. I think Cody Durden got him. Who else? Let's look at Matt Schnell. So let's look at his record in the UFC. He has 3 submission losses. Cody Durden got him with a ninja choke. Brandon Royval got him with a guillotine in round 1. And then, Pantoja knocked him out in round 1. Tim Elliott got him back in 2016. He's been submitted 3 times, and I think that if he doesn't put away Jimmy Flick early, I think even if he hurts Jimmy Flick, he can grab something off his back. You know, if he knocks him down, goes to his back, he can grab something off his back, bro. You don't think?
I don't care about this.
That's fucked up. All right,
it's my opinion.
I'm going Jimmy Flick, bro.
Okay, I'm going Jimmy Flick too.
All right, yeah. There's not a lot of other fights to break down. There's Damon Blackshear versus Alan Tang. I hate pronouncing his name. You know how to pronounce his name? I always pronounce his name wrong.
Who is?
All right.
Alan Tagali.
What about Evan Elder, bro? Evan Elder versus this is a newcomer to the UFC debut.
Brother, I didn't watch the fights.
All right. I think we covered enough. We covered enough of them. I think we're good, bro. Tell the people what they need to do, bro.
8:45, my brother. You should pay me more, bro. Hey, please, if you got this far, click the like button, share. And another thing, and please show me the money. I'm gonna do some promo for the Kraken, and then you guys cut and send to me so I can post on Instagram. Yeah. So if you got this far, thank you so much for the audience. Thanks so much, Kraken, the best Bitcoin platform, my brother. The best exchange. Thank you so much, and thank you, Show Me the Money. Thank you, Matty Bats. Thank you, Masvidal. No, thank you, Gilbert Burns. I'm working double because of you, my brother. And see you soon, my brother. Please subscribe, like, and soon as you hit 50K, we fly somebody here to get beat, brother.
Oos. Let's go.